The last song drifts across your yard from a nearby tree. A song sparrow repeats the same phrase 3 times. Then it stops. The feeder hangs motionless beneath fading light. The shadows stretch another 10 feet across the grass. A minute passes. Nothing sings. Most evenings end this way. The chorus fades, the yard grows quiet, the day feels finished. Yet something strange happens during the next few minutes. The silence does not spread evenly. A single shape slips from a shrub near your fence. Another crosses the yard without a sound. Leaves shift once beneath a maple tree. Then everything looks still again. You notice less. The birds do not. Many backyard species begin important evening behavior 15 to 30 minutes before full darkness. American robins leave feeding areas. House finches gather in small groups. Carolina chickadees make final decisions before night arrives. The quiet settling over your yard marks a change of shift, not an ending, a beginning. By the end, you will see that these quiet movements do not stop at your fence. They connect your yard to a nighttime pattern stretching across thousands of miles. The robin in your yard seems settled for the evening. It spent hours feeding across the lawn. It should sleep nearby. It often does not. Many American robins leave feeding areas after evening silence. They travel toward communal roosts before darkness fully arrives. Researchers have documented movements ranging from several hundred meters to several kilometers. A robin feeding near your garden at 7:15 p.m. may spend the night far beyond your property. The bird you watched all afternoon may already be preparing to leave. This behavior serves a purpose. Large roosts provide safety through numbers. More eyes can detect danger. More birds create confusion for predators. A single American robin weighs about 77 grams. A group of 100 robins creates a very different target than one bird alone. The departure usually happens quietly. No dramatic signal announces the change. The robin simply stops feeding. It pauses, then it flies. Your yard becomes part of a route rather than a destination. The robin crosses fences, roads, and backyards. Within minutes, it may disappear into a stand of trees half a mile away. From your perspective, the bird is gone. From the robin's perspective, the night is just beginning. The destination can be surprisingly crowded. Some communal roosts contain dozens of birds. Others hold several hundred. Branches that appeared empty during daylight become occupied after sunset. The gathering remains largely hidden because it happens in dense cover. Most people never witness it. The evening silence helps conceal the movement. That creates a strange illusion. One robin disappears from your yard. It feels like a single event. In reality, many nearby robins may be making the same journey. Birds from dozens of separate feeding territories can converge on the same nighttime location. What looks random at the scale of your lawn becomes organized at the scale of a neighborhood. The disappearance of one robin is often part of a coordinated nightly migration occurring on a local scale. Every evening, countless small departures reshape the bird population around your yard. And some species make an even more precise nighttime choice before darkness fully arrives. A small bird reaches evening and finds a nearby branch. It settles down and sleeps. That seems like the obvious pattern. For many small songbirds, the choice is far more deliberate. A black-capped chickadee weighs only about 11 grams. That tiny body loses heat quickly during a long night. Every evening becomes a search for protection. The bird must choose carefully. A sheltered roost can mean the difference between conserving energy and wasting it. A poor location exposes the bird to wind, cold, and predators. The decision begins before darkness fully arrives. Chickadees inspect dense vegetation. They move through branches. They test cover from different angles. The goal is not comfort. The goal is survival. Your yard may contain one of the most valuable resources a chickadee can find. A thick evergreen shrub, a dense hedge, a tightly branched ornamental tree. What looks decorative to you can function as a nighttime shelter. Inside that cover, wind speeds may be reduced significantly. Temperatures can remain slightly higher than exposed locations. Even a small difference matters to an 11-gram bird. The evening silence often hides this activity. The bird stops calling. It becomes harder to notice. Yet important decisions continue. A chickadee may move several times before settling. It evaluates safety, it evaluates shelter, it evaluates the chance of surviving until dawn. The choice affects more than warmth. Predator avoidance also matters. Owls, raccoons, and other nighttime hunters rely on finding exposed targets. Dense vegetation creates obstacles. Hidden birds are harder to detect, harder to reach, harder to catch. The importance increases during cold weather. Temperatures can fall below 0 degrees Celsius during winter nights. A bird that conserves energy overnight begins the morning stronger. A bird that loses too much heat starts the day with fewer reserves. That difference can determine feeding success during the first critical hours after sunrise. What appears to be a quiet evening scramble is actually a calculation. Every movement serves a purpose. Every branch choice carries consequences. By the time darkness arrives, many small birds have already made the most important decision of their night. And some species take that planning even further by gathering together before sleep. Once darkness arrives, the birds are gone. The yard finally rests. That feels true from a porch or window. It is not. For some birds, activity begins when the daytime chorus ends. Great horned owls often start hunting within minutes of dusk. The silence that settles over songbirds signals opportunity. A hunting shift is beginning. These owls are powerful nocturnal predators. A great horned owl can stand more than 60 centimeters tall. Its hearing remains effective in conditions where visibility drops dramatically. The bird does not need daylight to operate. Darkness works in its favor. As robins move toward roosts and chickadees disappear into cover, another community becomes active. The transition is quiet. Most people never notice it. Your yard may appear empty. An owl may already be watching from a perch 20 meters away. It remains motionless. Its outline blends into the tree. The yard looks unchanged. The hunter sees something different. Movement beneath a shrub, a rustle in leaves, a small mammal crossing open ground. The same space used by daytime birds becomes part of a nighttime hunting territory. This is not random activity. It is an organized handoff. One community leaves, another arrives. The timing matters. Daytime songbirds reduce movement as darkness deepens. Nocturnal hunters increase activity during the same period. The overlap lasts only a short time, yet it reshapes the entire landscape around your yard. The change happens without sound, without visible signals, without any clear boundary. That makes it easy to miss. A feeder visited by house finches at noon may sit beneath an owl's hunting route after sunset. A familiar tree may serve two completely different purposes within the same 24-hour period. The evening silence creates the illusion of absence. The reality is replacement. The daytime world does not disappear. It yields space to another one. Every dusk creates an invisible shift change between birds that avoid darkness and birds that depend on it. The yard remains active. The participants simply change. And while hunters take control of the night sky, many smaller birds are making another decision that determines whether they survive until morning. Migrating birds travel during the day. They move across the sky where everyone can watch. That seems like the natural way to migrate. For most songbirds, the opposite is true. The majority of songbird migration happens at night. Many species begin moving after sunset and continue for hours. Individual birds can cover 100 to 500 kilometers in a single evening. The darkness above your yard may hold far more movement than the daylight sky. Species such as the Swainson's thrush, wood thrush, and various warblers often migrate under the cover of night. The timing provides several advantages. Night air is usually cooler. Atmospheric conditions are often calmer. Predator pressure from daytime hunters is reduced. The journey becomes more efficient. A bird that spent the afternoon feeding in your yard may not remain there overnight. At sunset, it appears settled. A few hours later, it may be flying directly above your roof. The transformation happens quickly. One moment the bird is searching for insects among leaves, the next it is part of a migration stream stretching across hundreds of kilometers. From the ground, Almost nothing reveals the change. Your yard grows quiet. The feeder stands still. The trees stop moving. The sky seems empty. It is often anything but empty. Weather radar studies have recorded massive waves of nocturnal migration. On busy migration nights, thousands of birds can pass over a region within a few hours. Most remain invisible to human observers. They travel high above rooftops, neighborhoods, and fields. The silence creates a powerful illusion. Nothing appears to be happening. Yet movement continues overhead. Birds navigate using stars, magnetic cues, and environmental signals. They maintain direction through darkness that would challenge many other animals. The journey unfolds beyond normal sight. That is why the quiet evening in your yard can be misleading. The absence of visible activity does not mean inactivity. It may coincide with one of the largest movements in nature. While your lawn sits beneath darkness, streams of migrants may be crossing the night sky above it. The yard becomes a temporary stop within a much larger network. And some birds are not merely crossing your neighborhood. They are participating in movements that connect entire regions together every single night. Many birds fall asleep after dark. They remain unaware until sunrise. That seems like the safest way to spend the night. It is not how many birds survive. Numerous species wake repeatedly through the night. They respond to sounds. They react to movement. They monitor potential threats around them. Sleep exists. Complete disengagement often does not. A sleeping bird remains vulnerable. Predators continue hunting. Branches shift in the wind. Unfamiliar sounds appear without warning. The night demands attention. Species such as eastern bluebirds and tree swallows often use cavities or nest boxes for shelter. From outside, everything appears peaceful. Nothing moves, nothing calls. The birds seem completely asleep, yet awareness remains. Your nest box may contain birds quietly monitoring the environment while appearing motionless. A sudden sound can trigger an immediate response. A nearby predator can alter behavior within seconds. The bird does not need to sing or fly to remain alert. Stillness becomes part of the strategy. That vigilance carries a cost. Every awakening interrupts rest. Every assessment requires energy. Yet the alternative carries greater risk. A bird that ignores danger may never see morning. Nighttime survival depends on constant risk assessment. The process continues hour after hour. Most of it remains invisible. The silence outside your window hides countless evaluations. A distant rustle, a shifting shadow, a brief vibration along a branch. Each event receives attention. Each event is judged, safe or dangerous, ignore or respond. The decisions happen quickly. The consequences can last until dawn. This creates another illusion within your yard. Silence feels empty. Silence feels inactive. For many birds, silence is neither. It is controlled stillness. The absence of sound often reflects discipline rather than relaxation. Movement is minimized. Attention is not. Throughout the night, birds balance rest against awareness. They conserve energy while remaining prepared for danger. The strategy allows small animals to survive long hours of darkness surrounded by uncertainty. When morning finally arrives, the chorus returns. But that chorus emerges from birds that spent the entire night listening, evaluating, and enduring. And those hidden hours connect your yard to something much larger than a single night beneath a single tree. The silence after sunset feels small. It feels local. It seems confined to your yard and the trees nearby. It is not. The moment birds become quiet around your home often coincides with one of the largest wildlife movements on Earth. Start with your yard. An American robin may leave a lawn and travel 1 kilometer to a communal roost. A chickadee may move only 20 meters into dense cover. An owl may begin hunting from a perch overlooking the same space. The changes seem modest. They happen within sight of your fence. Now expand to the regional scale. Across forests, suburbs, wetlands, and farmland, thousands of birds begin moving between feeding grounds and nighttime shelter. Many travel distances between 10 and 100 kilometers. Robins gather into roosts. Blackbirds converge in large groups. Migrants rise into the darkening sky. Separate movements begin to overlap. What appeared scattered becomes connected. The same evening transition occurring in your yard unfolds across an entire region. Now expand again. Far beyond your neighborhood, millions of migratory birds move through darkness across a continent. Species such as warblers, thrushes, vireos, and tanagers continue journeys spanning hundreds or even thousands of kilometers. Most travel while people sleep. Most remain invisible from the ground. Yet the movement is real. Weather radar has revealed migration nights involving hundreds of millions of birds crossing North America. The numbers are difficult to imagine. Entire skies become pathways. Invisible highways stretch from one end of a continent to another. The silence in your yard exists beneath that movement. You hear nothing. Above the trees, wings continue beating. Above neighborhoods, birds continue navigating. Above entire states, migration continues hour after hour. The contrast is striking. Human senses detect stillness. Nature is in motion. The final bird call from your yard does not mark a conclusion. It marks a transition. The robin heading toward a roost, the owl beginning its hunt, the migrant climbing into the night sky, all become part of the same system. A system operating across multiple scales at once. Your yard is not separate from it. Your feeder is not separate from it. Your evening silence is not separate from it. The quiet settling over your lawn belongs to a network of movement that stretches across forests, regions, and continents. The last bird call in your yard is often not an ending at all. It is the opening moment of a vast nighttime river of wings flowing through darkness above an entire continent. The evening silence in your yard has not changed. The meaning of it has. What once sounded like the end of the day now reveals movement, preparation, survival, and journeys unfolding beyond sight. The final song does not close the story. It signals the beginning of a different one. Tomorrow evening, when the last call fades from a tree or shrub, your yard may feel completely different. The quiet that follows is no longer empty. It is filled with choices, risks, travelers, hunters, and hidden connections stretching far beyond your fence. Tell me in the comments, what is the last bird sound you usually hear in your yard before darkness takes over?